There, everybody. Boys and girls. That may even be offensive these days, saying boys and girls. And non-binary peoples that are watching, I guess, as well. Wait for y'all to join. It is a beautiful day outside. Absolutely gorgeous. I do have my AC cranked a bit right now, just because not being able to put the windows down is going to kind of kill me. So, how's the audio? Is the audio all right, Sabre? I see you're in here. I'm using my lapel mic, so the audio should be a little better than it usually is on a drive stream. Perfect. All right. So we're gonna talk about some fun facts. Yesterday, I uploaded a video. I talked about MS-13 and Trump. Obviously, MS-13 isn't exactly the most friendly people in the world, right? By the way, also, before we get too far into this, I did get my new shirt. This is the new shirt that I now have on my Teespring store. This one was exclusive to Patreon members. There is one massively available. The only difference is the firearm that is on it. Patreon's got a 1911, Smith & Wesson 1911, whereas the massively available one has a Smith & Wesson 2.0. Isn't that exciting? What's up, Justin? So, you should have both hands on the wheel. Buddy, I rarely have both hands on the wheel. I normally have one hand on the wheel and occasionally drive with my knees. But I've also never hit anything or even come close to hitting anything. But I've been hit. Too bad I wasn't drive streaming for that rear-ended incident, right? All right, so as I was saying, though, I uploaded the video yesterday about MS-13. And interestingly enough, I started the video off explaining that it's very interesting these days that people aren't able to understand a difference of opinion or people having separate views from them. It's sort of a similar concept to, I may disagree with some liberal ideas, and keep in mind, it's very rare that anyone sticks exactly to liberal and conservative. There are people that have ideas that are outside of both of those. So, for example, I am for the legalization of marijuana. That's considered more of a liberal ideal. I support green energy and am all for us cleaning up this world that we live in and preserving it, which is considered more of a liberal ideal. However, I am a staunch supporter of the Second Amendment, as we all know. And I'm also a very strong supporter of your freedom of speech and stuff along those lines. Where I tend, actually rolling one up at the moment, 420 Blaze! I got called a spick today, by the way, Sabre. I should have just said, no, I don't eat the polo. So, to point out though, when someone tells me that they support abortion, I don't instantly throw in their face that they are a baby killer. I am not for making abortion illegal, because I lean conservatively, but I'm also what's called a libertarian. So I'm for you having the most rights, but while us having a small government that has less control. Now, when we talk about me being against abortion, no one should take that away from you for one reason alone. There will then be back alley abortions, and plus I don't really like giving more control to the government. I do not agree with it and don't feel that it should be socially acceptable. I will never praise abortion or think that you should be able to talk about it in passive conversation. Like, hi, I had an abortion this morning. No, that's odd. However, I don't make fun of someone who had one. I also don't sit there and try to demonize someone just because they're a Democrat. For those of you who don't know, I was told that I am inherently racist because I'm a conservative. So we're going to talk a little bit. We're going to explain why that's wrong and how wrong that is. For those of you who don't know, the Democrats are historically racist. Malcolm X is actually even quoted for saying, "Don't trust the Democrats. They will pretend like they are the black man's friend, only to lie to you and keep you enslaved." Now, what does Malcolm X mean by that? And you hear a lot of times, because a lot of people like to try to argue that Republicans and Democrats have switched roles. That is only accurate to a certain extent. Back when Republicans fought for the abolishment of slavery, which, yes, that was the Republicans, or back when the Republicans fought to have mixed race schools, which, yes, that again was Republicans, or back when the Republicans, the conservatives, fought to end Jim Crow, that was Republicans. All Republicans. Interesting, right? So yes, those were considered social justice topics. Following so far? All right, so where did that end? Well, the Republicans follow what they consider to be essentially religious morals, for the most part. I'm not saying all politicians, because I will tell you straight up, I think that most politicians are crooked. I am a huge fan of certain politicians, such as Rand Paul. I really like Rand Paul because he doesn't come off as a scumbag. I don't like politicians that take huge payoffs from giant companies and don't fight for yours or my rights. I don't know if you know this, but we shouldn't be really paying politicians to be in the top 1% when their job is to represent the people, which they are no longer a part of because of how high we've allowed them to become paid. They are above the people and they do not understand the people. Correct? Gotcha. We're good. Follow so far. So I don't like politicians. I won't tell you that there's any good politician. I absolutely hated Mitt Romney. I would have voted anyone over Mitt Romney. So if that puts that into perspective for you, you don't necessarily just vote for the politician. Sometimes you're also voting for your views that are being represented. And having a two-party system means your views aren't accurately being represented. Sorry, app froze. But it's funny when I'm told by a liberal that I am inherently racist because I am conservative. And again, this is not all liberals. Unfortunately, the loudest of any group tends to be the most obnoxious. So, interestingly enough, did you know that gun control in America actually started as an argument to keep guns out of the hands of black people by the Democrats? Did you know that? I didn't know that until I did a whole bunch of fucking research on it. But yeah, that's how gun control started. They were worried about us making African American citizens and then them possessing firearms, and that was the start of the gun control argument. So the Democrats have actually been fighting for gun control since the time the Republicans freed the slaves. Isn't that interesting? I thought it was. But not only is that kind of interesting, the more interesting part, if we take it up to modern day, because obviously I'm talking about things that happened hundreds of years ago, I believe in an equal world for all people. However, certain social justice programs and certain things that Democrats say, I'm going to say this, and as much as it pains me to say this, Kanye was right to a degree. All right? I don't like Kanye West. Like, I don't like that man. But when he said that people chose to be slaves, he means by the mindset. He doesn't mean that people chose 300 years ago to be slaves. Also, keep in mind, all countries have had slaves. Italians have been kept as slaves, that's the thing. And actually, right now, in South Africa, they're trying to have a genocide of white people. If you don't believe me on that, you can look it up. They essentially have made jokes saying they're not calling for the eradication of all white people in South Africa yet. That is an exact quote. That should scare the shit out of you. But it's okay to be racist against a white person. It's okay to call a conservative a racist. just because you don't feel strong enough in your own beliefs. Now, I feel very strong about my beliefs, and I can pretty much argue why I feel the way I do and explain why I feel the way I do about all of them. So hence why I probably don't run around calling liberals baby-killing queers. I could say that, but that would be me being misinformed and uneducated and me just trying to shut someone up. Calling someone a racist is a great way to try to end a conversation, because how do you come back from that? You can't. There's no real way to come back from that argument. It's just a cheap cop-out from someone who's trying to say that they can't actually validate their own views. So, reasons why conservatives technically today would not be considered racist, the difference of mindset would be the first part. So when you hear Democrats talk, they talk about black issues. When they're talking about black issues, they are specifically referring to things like Medicare and the corrections system and welfare. That is what the Democrats believe are black issues. Now, if we are talking about actual black issues, I don't feel sitting here saying, oh, well, we need to help you get into jobs because you're not going to be able to do it on your own. You're going to be looked down on, because that's, what affirmative action essentially is, and part of the whole, let us raise you up, let us help you get these jobs, isn't empowering anyone. It doesn't make someone feel they're on the same footing. You're essentially putting them down and knocking them back. It's like when I give someone a backhanded compliment. I do that a lot at work sometimes. I can't necessarily control that. However, it's the same concept. We're going to act like we're helping you, but at the same time, we are keeping you shackled to what we think is essentially your problems. Now, if we're being fair, welfare is actually not a black issue. There are easily more white people on welfare. The main issue comes from there are more black people in poverty than there are white people. And there are a lot of different circumstances surrounding that. Keep in mind, black people haven't been free in this country as long as white people have, but nowadays, you are capable of getting a job doing whatever you want. However, the system and the praising of gang life and stuff like that kind of keeps the system held back. So when you're praising things like gang life and you have an odd amount of black children joining gangs and not really putting in their full effort, you're creating a stigma that is only allowing that trend to keep going. Now, affirmative action, as I said, I feel holds people back. You should always hire the better person. And you may even argue that school systems in those areas are shit. I will never argue that those school systems aren't shit, because they are. I went to Catholic schools. I got kicked out of Catholic schools. That's a story for another video. But yes, I was kicked out of Catholic schools. However, I had to go to Columbus Public Schools, which is one of the shittiest school districts with the most issues, for one semester. It was terrible. Now, here's the difference though. You can go to a shitty school and still become something and still make the best out of it. It's more or less who you decide to associate with and what kind of people you're able to not hang out with. Obviously, I had some friends that did some sketchy shit, to say the least. I actually like to learn, specifically science and history. I am garbage at math and always have been. But I have friends that went to these terrible schools and got PhDs and are doctors now. So, again, nothing about race is ever going to hold you back. No one these days, except for unless they are actually a KKK member, which, trust me, if you publicly state you are a KKK member, most people just look at you like you're stupid. Even representations of KKK members in media typically makes them look stupid, because that's how most people view them. That's not like a socially accepted thing. And now, it's interesting because I did say that MS-13 is animals, and keep in mind, if you are harming and raping and killing children, yeah, calling you an animal is actually an insult to the animal. You are a disgusting piece of trash who should not be allowed to breathe more air. I'm sorry, but if a kid is surviving your rape, you have now screwed them up for life. Yeah, there's no coming back from that. At least not mentally healthy. So, I would tell you the same thing though about the Italian mafia, and I'm Italian. So if you ask me, is the Italian mafia animals? Yeah, they're animals. They're trash people. But by all means, I do know a lot about the Italian mafia. I have studied the mafia, and I understand that to some degree we do glorify that culture, just as we glorify a lot of gang culture. When you listen to rap and different media these days, a lot of it is glorifying gang life and gang culture. Just like a lot of movies glorify Italian mafioso culture. And back then, it was very commonplace. Italians were known as wops. When we first immigrated to this country in the early 1900s, late 1800s, we were called WOPs, W-O-P-S. It stands for without papers. We were essentially the first Mexican immigrants. However, I will give it this, at least the Italian mafia had a code of ethics where they weren't running around killing innocent people. Not until later, which is also when the public opinion turned on them. Originally, the Italian mafia also gave back to the communities, essentially the same way that the drug cartel in Mexico attempts to do. Keep the people pacified, and they don't narc on you. So, as we keep going here, I would also tell you the KKK is all animals. If you do anything hateful, now I get it. I can't stop people from having a racist ideal, and neither can you, and they have the freedom to have that ideal. It's when they incite violence or act on that violence is when it becomes an issue. The KKK doesn't really do that anymore because they're pretty much all stupid. Not that them being smart would be them inciting violence, it's just they're pretty stupid. So, it's really interesting though to hear when people say, oh, you're conservative, so you're racist. No, I actually consider black people as equals, hence why I don't say, oh, this is a black issue. You're right. Me saying this is a black issue is actually inherently more racist than me saying that I'm conservative. Oh, crack, that's a black issue. No, that's fucking racist. I get that there is a large population of blacks that are in prison compared to white people, and again, that has to do with poverty. When you look at white people in poverty, there are a lot of white people in poverty, and those are typically the white people that whine. Don't get me wrong, there are some rich people that commit some terrible fucking crimes too, obviously, but they get away with them because they have the money to afford a lawyer who can get them the fuck out of it. A good example would be OJ. Johnny Cochran got his ass out of it. Another good example would be Harvey Weinstein. So, when we back here, notice too that I stated Harvey Weinstein. Is it weird that a lot of the people that are liberal-leaning tend to commit the worst crimes? Because Harvey Weinstein was a big Hillary Clinton supporter. Actually, most of Hollywood was a big Hillary Clinton supporter. And I've stated numerous times, I am not a fucking Trump supporter. I don't hate Trump, but I'm not stupid enough to say, oh, he's not my president. I live in the United States, so whoever the people elect as the United States president, even if that would have been Hillary Clinton, she would have been my fucking president. That's how it works when you live in a democratic country. Whether I disagree with that president, I want them to do well. I want to see them succeed because that makes us succeed as a country. For example, I didn't hate Obama as a person. I absolutely loved when Obama did the BuzzFeed videos, despite my absolute hatred for BuzzFeed. The dude's pretty fucking funny. All right, his White House correspondence speeches, those were all pretty entertaining. I just disagreed with his politics. I didn't sit there and hate Obama. I just don't see eye to eye with him politically. And that's just to do with our difference of views. I would have never called Obama a baby killer. I also don't feel that he deserved a Nobel Peace Prize. none of you can probably even tell me what he won a Nobel Peace Prize for. I also don't necessarily believe that Trump deserves a Nobel Peace Prize. And I wouldn't say that anyone deserves it until it actually comes to fruition, because North and South Korea could easily fall apart. We are currently looking at that. So, who's more racist then? The liberal, who thinks that blacks need to be held to a lower standard than the white person and need to be raised up because they can't achieve the things that white people can achieve, or the conservative, who thinks that the black community is on the same footing as the white community, and the only power they need is their own self-motivation to get themselves to where they need to be. That's your difference of opinion. The only thing that separates us is skin color. That is it. There is no difference in brain capacity. There's no difference in anything other than skin color. That's it. That's all there is. But inherently, I'm a racist because I think that blacks are equal. Just like Saber Prime. Saber Prime makes more than me and he's Hispanic. The only thing that you can do to better your life is better your education and strive to do better. That's it. No one else can help you do that. Nothing else the government does is going to do that. Giving the government more control and taking away more freedoms isn't going to fix that. As I said, Democrats started the whole, let's take guns away from the people because they were worried about them getting into the hands of black people and the black people rising up. It was literally a form of oppression by racist, Democratic politicians. But keep in mind, politicians didn't used to be called politicians. It used to be an insult to call someone a politician. That means that you were crooked. Now it's a career to be a politician, because it's how much money can you line my back pocket with? Back pocket paid off reviews? But they used to be called public servants. That's why I actually want to run for president. I am actually going to campaign to run for president. And I, sadly enough to say, will probably be the most moral candidate to run. And I would be doing it as an independent, which means that I could get my name on the ballots myself and wouldn't have to win a primary. Although I would love to debate in a primary. I would love, because the only thing that the political debates turn into, when you watch Trump and Hillary's debates, there were no answers to anything. It was just them slinging shit at each other. You want to sling shit? I'll sling the most shit. Hey, how much money does the Clinton Foundation actually donate to foundations every year? Who are they helping? Oh, Hillary get into office and they still can't? I am actually going to run, though. Up versus down. I'm going to run for president. That's not even a joke at this point. There's going to be shirts. They're going to say BPGR for whatever year it is. I'll look into what year it is that I can run. It's not the next election, but the one after it. So what, we got 6 years? 6 years. I will be running. I will be president, and I will make sure whoever that I pick for my cabinets knows the things that I don't know. So when I pick someone as a Secretary of Defense, they will probably be someone who is in the military and a high-ranking person. When I pick someone who is going to be the treasurer, they will not be a banker, because I have a lot of fucking issues with the Federal Reserve and the crooks that they all are. I would also probably try to end the Federal Reserve, because I did want Trump to do that. Like, I was okay if Trump won because of that. And notice that he hasn't fucking mentioned that. Oh, let's drain the swamp. Bitch, you ain't drained shit yet. Everyone he's brought in was his buddy that makes buku bucks. I want to take the public service position back to the blue-collared workers so I can represent the blue-collar America. And you might say, Nick, there's no way you'll win doing that. It's not true. There are actually more blue-collar people than there are anyone else, and I will run my entire campaign through GoFundMe and through... That is literally how I'm going to run the whole thing. Unless I can get the Libertarian nomination. That'd be fucking crazy. But there's views that I have that aren't technically Libertarian either. But then I can make I can make MANA hats. You know how Trump has the MAGA hats, the Make America Great Again? I can have a hat that says Make America Nick Again. Fuck all of you. We're going back to morals. Alright? Morals. That's what this country should be ran by. People with morals, not people who take money from large corporations to back their wants and needs. I would take a corporate sponsorship, though. And those corporate sponsorships would be from companies that I already like, such as Squatty Potty. Squatty Potty in all the White House bathrooms for all my presidential shit. They would totally go with it. The doom button? I would never start a nuclear war. I don't think any country should have nuclear warheads, but I understand how naive that is of me, and the reason why we do have them is as deterrent. But I also don't agree with drone strikes, because drone strikes kill a lot of innocent people. I get you don't necessarily hear about that, but when you ask yourself why there's so many terrorists that hate America, well, it's because we've broken so many homes by killing loved ones through drone strikes. I believe in boots on the ground. You want to help a country? Put fucking boots on the ground. Guess what a soldier can do that a drone can't? Tell the difference between a threat and not a threat. Oh God. Oh God. I will not ride in any convertibles, and I also won't need as many Secret Service men, because I'll be the first president to be packing myself. At least the first one that's openly packing. By the way, did you know there's a Democratic senator who has this concealed carry and won't go anywhere else without it for his own safety? But you have no need to have one. He's super anti-Second Amendment, by the way. Can't remember that fucktard's name either. But he is a fucktard. I would do like a presidential podcast too. And I hate that all these presidents are like, oh, I need so much time off. This job is so hard. Bitch, you're just talking to people and signing things. That's really not hard. I carry furniture and shit all day. Bring back the blood eagle. I will keep a bald eagle in the White House as the official White House pet. I will make Anthony clean its cage. Actually, I probably can't do that because Anthony's probably small enough to be eaten by an eagle. Oh, Anthony. Plus, then we can have White House gaming night. If I were president, yes, I would still make videos on YouTube. Just like this. I could drive stream all the time because then I'd be getting driven around by Secret Service. Have you ever seen those guys' crazy-ass driving tests? They have to do an obstacle course in reverse. In reverse! And I mean like fast. They're going like 80, 90 miles an hour in reverse, going through cones and shit. I'd have a ferret instead of an eagle. You Irish people are nuts. It's just like if you ask an Irish person, what's your favorite gun? They're like an RPG. Huh. IRA, they know how to do a rebellion, man. I know I'm good with the Irish jokes. I got plenty of those. But see, I can make those because I'm white, and people don't inherently find it racist when I make Irish jokes. It works. I think this was a fun and productive drive stream. I enjoy talking about stuff like this, and I feel in this type of environment, I can piece this stuff together well, and this would have been a really fucking long video. In the stuff that the Secret Service drives, Chris, go look up some of the videos. It's effing nuts. And it's not that possible to go in reverse because it's not good on the engine. But they're also not driving the same vehicles as you and I. Theirs are also lined with bulletproof stuff. Alien gear holsters. The official holster of the president. I would just take free products still, too. I wouldn't even take payoffs from these companies to promote their stuff because I already like the product. Just give me free stuff. I am seriously running, though. I've decided. I have figured out how to get my name on the ballot. There's a lot of work. There's like 4 states I won't be in because you actually have to go to those states to get on the ballot. Unless I can get like a team of people put together that live in those states like Hawaii, I actually have to go to Hawaii. Not that I wouldn't want to go to Hawaii. I'm all for going to Hawaii. But if I'm campaigning, I don't really have the extra money to go to Hawaii because I would be using it to, you know. By the way, for those of you who did just get here, this is the new shirt on BPGR's Teespring. If you go on my Teespring, you can order one of these. Pretty cool, huh? I got a whole bunch of new shirts, and this is my first since I've switched all of the shirts to the new fabric. And because of the quantities they sell, yet I still sell mine cheaper. Interesting. It's because I'm a crooked human being now. That's where I was going with that. I'll see you all later. You all enjoy your evening. Maybe if you're lucky, I'll stream a game tonight. Maybe we can play some Rainbow. I can't give you a free shirt, Shadow Realm, but they do ship internationally. So you can get one in Ireland. I don't know what they charge for international shipping, though. But I've had people order them in the UK. My Lame Stop one. I also redesigned the Lame Stop shirt. It is now exactly GameStop's font. Almost. Like it. You won't notice the difference, but if I get sued, the lawyer will be able to point out the difference. Oh, thank you, Lucas. By the way, hi, Scott. Hi, Sparky. Hi, Justin. Hi, everyone. I'll see you all later. You all enjoy your evening. Stay safe.